Recording, testing audio. Can someone just quickly speak into the, just say hello. I want to see if the desktop audio works.
Hey, Tsepo.
Boom. Sammy, my boy. I love it. Okay, cool. Cool, cool. The meeting is recording. I'm going to share my screen. Oh, a window, PowerPoint, share. Tell me if you can see the Wild Dogs 2025 campaign info meeting. I see thumbs up. Okay. Let's get this started. Welcome one and all to the Wild Dogs 2025 campaign info meeting. I'm not going to lie, I'm very nervous, but like excited. You know that excited, nervous when you know something big is happening and it's really big. So you're like, yo, this is going to be hectic. But yeah, it's good. It's good. Let's jump into it. In terms of, what we're trying to achieve, we have gone forward too far. In terms of introduction, being a wild dog means representing South Africa at the World Under 24 Ultimate Championships. And that is one of the greatest honors that the South African ultimate community has to offer. Representing your national team is just one of those things. And this team is probably one of the teams that have competed in the most. I believe we've competed in four World Under 24 championships. So yeah, a very probably one of the more active national teams in the country. Um, Wild Dogs also gives a player a life-enriching experience that has the potential to enrich the ultimate players community. So people that go, come back, and then can enrich their community. There are a few examples of that. I mean, let's take the last coach, for example. Dylan played in the 2015 campaign, and then went on to coach a successful 2023 campaign. The primary goal of this campaign, though, is to give as many eligible players in the country the best opportunity to achieve this honor. So that just speaks to the three pillars that um, I want to discuss of the strategic process. The first one is access. So once again, it's giving as many players as possible what they need to get in the squad. So that means that we are talking about giving them the tools they need to go on the trip and enough time to do so. So whether it's like fundraising, training, we don't want to get people going there underprepared or people being keen for it and then just being unable to go. Another pillar is inclusion. So everyone in bold is given the opportunity to add value to the campaign. And the key is to realize that the Wild Dogs are bigger than the players that are on the field at Worlds. And as the Springboks say, hashtag we're stronger together. So one of the things that I noticed in the last successful World Cup campaign for the Springboks was that they had like a support board that was like in the hotel that just showed the Springboks like a bunch of support from back home, um, support from loved ones within the camp as well, really made a difference. And yeah, the whole point is to get as many people involved because if many people contribute, who knows what we can achieve, you know? So yeah, the third pillar is excellence. So the program needs to represent the best that the country has to offer. And what we want that to mean is that you're not just the best in the country, but you must also be the best for the country. So that goes back to what was said about not only does the campaign enrich the lives of the players, but it enriches the lives of that players' community. So it's about reaching a little bit further and a little bit deeper and expanding the ultimate community in that way. The next thing, oops, I went back. The management pack, the Wild Dogs. So the administrative body is going to be the four of us here. Myself, Tepo Taela, I'm going to be the head coach for this campaign. Marcus Sebergo is going to be my assistant coach representing the Wild Dogs in 2019. and has been a coach here in Johannesburg of various teams. Hannah Sarakinski is going to be the co-squad manager. She's done her fair share of ultimate administration within Gauteng and at Wits. And then Darren Curry was the last squad assistant squad manager in the last campaign and is now the co-squad manager with Hannah. So they're going to work together to just make sure that we don't mess up any admin. Moving on to the next slide. On the field, yes, where we're going to be playing. Um, Team selection phases. We have 4 phases in this campaign. So pack prep camps, aka training camps. What we want to do is we want to establish a pipeline. So the name of the game here is to get as many people playing Ultimate as possible, so that we grow the player pool for trials, and not just that, but prepare that player pool for trials so that when you get to trials, it's not the first time you're hearing about a V stack or zone defense, and stuff like that. So phase one is about getting as many people involved as possible and getting everybody to a certain level. Then there are going to be 2 rounds of trials. That's going to be phase two. Then what we'd like to do is have a phase three, which would be tours. So that would be tours with fixtures that help the team gain experience as a team before going to Worlds. And that we also want these tours to also act as some sort of like fundraiser as well. And also these tours can are there to select the squad for Worlds. So the touring squad for the national tours that are going to be in South Africa is probably going to be a little bit bigger, um, to sort of give more people the opportunity to actually represent the Wild Dogs. You might not be at Worlds, but you do get to don the green and gold. And then finally, Worlds, showtime. And Worlds isn't just about showing up and doing our best. That is a very important part of the process, but equally as important, we need to learn as much as we can and bring that home to um, improve the South African Ultimate community. And then also we need to keep the community posted with what's going on, because there's a bunch of people that always want to know what's happening with the Wild Dogs, family, friends that want to show their support. So yeah, we need to just make sure that we are communicating properly at that time. So here's a little timeline. As you can see, we had the staff info meeting. That's where I sort of presented this idea to the select few that I thought would be the core management group. That happened early this year. And now we're here at the SA info meeting, where I want to just tell the whole South African community about what we have planned so that we can get as many people involved as possible. Because as great as many ideas as I have, there are probably a bunch of ideas and ways for the country to contribute that we haven't looked at yet. So we want to give you guys a big picture of what we're trying to achieve and then see where people can slot in, not necessarily just in like the administration and playing, but I'll show you other ways that we can contribute. But moving on with the timeline, pack prep camps, aka training camps, we're looking to have that in between the 29th of March and the 30th of June. Um, and I'll explain like how that looks like. But we're looking to have at least one of these camps in each of the regions, the northern region, the southern region, the western region, and the eastern region, at least one. Then trials, looking to have that between the 5th of July and the 19th of October, and that's just the first round of trials. That we would like to make regional trials because not everybody can travel. Like, for example, in the last campaign, there were 2 trials, one in Cape Town and one in Pretoria, not Johannesburg. And then people from the eastern and southern region had to travel to those. But what we want to do is have trials in each. Then if we make it to the next round of trials, we all go to that national trials, which we're looking at the 25th of October. It should be, that's a week after October, so there's no clashing there. But we'll see if that clashes with the intervarsity that There still haven't been any plans for that, but we'll try to make sure that there aren't any clashes there. And also exams, because most of us are probably students. So that date is negotiable, but that's sort of where we want to have that. Then the SA tours and training camps will probably be between Feb and June 2025. We may have a training camp as the squad after the team is selected just before the December holiday, so maybe one more in 2024, but we'll see as the time goes on. And then we're expecting Worlds to be in July 2025. There's an asterisk there, but I didn't explain why that asterisk is there, is because I think it would depend on who's hosting it. So I'm assuming that it would probably be in the summer of either the Southern Hemisphere or the Northern Hemisphere. So we may have one in March. Um, like let's say if Colombia decides to host it, but if it's like the US or the UK or maybe even Asia, we'll probably have Worlds in July when it's the summer. But we'll see. We'll see. We haven't really heard much from that. But yeah, here we are. So what we need to focus on now, and what I want to discuss now, is the phase one, the pack prep camps, aka the training camps. And what these are basically just a day of ultimate focused on fun, fundamentals, and team building exercises. So the objective is to provide a fun and attainable entry point to the Wild Dogs program, um, because most of us could just be coming into Ultimate. We also want to attract people that haven't heard of Ultimate before and just want to try it out and see what happens. And not just that, but give you enough time to become good enough to make it into the team. So if we can introduce Ultimates or the Wild Dogs and Ultimates early in a fun and attainable way, we hope that that gives people enough time to get to trials well prepared and ready to rumble. Um, and another objective is to establish training hubs, packs, because you know, wild dogs, we move in packs. So there'll be different regional packs that we'll use to prep players for trials and to interact with other packs. So there may be like an inter-pack challenge, you know, who could throw the most discs within a certain period of time. And there'll be like different challenges like that. We haven't fleshed that out yet, but I think it would be pretty exciting once packs sort of get established to build hype towards trials instead of just trials just showing up like, are you ready? So yeah, please note that pack prep camps are not trials. They're literally just the first step. Trials will happen later. So yeah, that's just a friendly reminder about that. Next thing, a very, very important thing about the Wild Dogs is fundraising. Um, so the strategy is basically we've identified three points of, not points of entry, but three sources of income um, for a player. So it's the player themselves, the team, and also sponsorships. Note that we're going to try to work to we're going to try to work towards specific targets to make the player's fee go down. So, for example, I believe Darren, you can correct me if I'm wrong. After a few calculations from past campaigns, the total that a player needs to pay to go on a Worlds campaign is about 55K. Okay, like ballpark figure. Darren, you can give me a thumbs up whenever you're ready. But yes, 55K is the target that each player needs to contribute to get to the Worlds campaign. And our goal through team fundraising, like the kit drive that was done last year, and sponsorships that we weren't able to do last campaign and last year, is to take that 55K down as low as possible to make this as accessible as possible. So we might not get like a sponsor that gives us R1 million, for example, but we may get like um, Lyft to um, sponsor flights between training camps, or maybe we sort out flights to Worlds, you know, so we can find different ways to just take that 55K down. Um, so, oh yeah, here it is. The three phases of fundraising as a team. The plan or the goal, the question rather, is how can we as the team and management raise funds for the campaign. So exhibition games, maybe some invitational tournaments, because that's probably the main way that ultimate frisbee clubs make money through hosting tournaments. Um, individuals, what tools can we give players to for getting and saving money for the campaign? So maybe we can give you like wallet checkpoints. So we say by October, try to have 20K in your account. And we also want to give people like crowdfunding training, because that's how I got to the UK, literally just walking around being like, hey, do you want to contribute 100 Rand to making a dream come true? And people are like, yeah, dude, sure. So if we give more people those types of tools, then we won't have a situation where people don't go to Worlds just because of money. And then finally, the third prong is sponsorship. So how can we leverage the program's brand ability to acquire sponsors? So we have a relatively active social media presence, and we do have streaming that is also like in the works. And you can get like sponsorships there. Maybe like someone can hoy a banner saying, hey, come to Sportsman's Warehouse for all your frisbee needs. And then they'll pay us some guala. Um, Darren has his hand up and it's gone. Oh, yes, it's back.
Sorry, Tips.
Please jump in.
Just on going back to sorry the estimate, just so I can put it on
Please
record.
do.
But more of a conservative estimate puts it at about 60K. Just trying to adjust for this campaign. But yeah, sorry. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Darren. Conservative estimate for the record about 60K per player to get them to a Worlds campaign. So yeah, that is food for thought. 60K, it's attainable. It's attainable. We can do it, and now we have the time to do it. Another prong of this campaign that I really want to like drive home is just presence, right? So essentially, I'm saying, how can we put Ultimate on the map, right? We're not just going to Worlds to have a good time and to play some Ultimate and to be the best in the country. No, we also want to use this like the Wild Dogs brand to like get people talking about Ultimate. Why the Wild Dogs brand? Because it's probably the most brandable program, yeah, in the that South African Ultimate has to offer. The other teams, unfortunately, the last Worlds campaign that we're going to send, I think, a men's team to fell through because of the 2020 pandemic. So yeah, like there hasn't really been much activity for international teams outside of the Wild Dogs since 2019. So yeah, we're on the map, we're there, and we have a lot of potential. Another reason why this campaign is because the target demographic has the most growth potential. So what I mean by that is that most of us, outside of KZN, because you guys start young, most of us start Ultimate in university. That's the first time people hear about Ultimate. This age group is probably like the most active points of entry for most of the sheesh. Travis is saying no teams going to Worlds this year. There is a Worlds happening on Australia, and there's no teams going there. So once again, yeah, Wild Dogs are the most active. But yeah, target demographic has the most growth potential. University students, guys, tons of energy, can make things happen, and just have to study. They don't have to worry about bills. Joking. And then there's a unique high return opportunity for development here. And that just goes back to this is a huge point of entry for most of the South African community. So if we just dial it up over here, we may be able to sort of expand into other demographics. But this one, if we smack it hard, we could smack it for six. Excuse the cricket analogy. How can we put Ultimate on the map? Social media is probably the easiest one, especially for the youths. Community buy-in and engagement is also another thing, and that's like community engagement will happen through different like social media channels. That's how we communicate, and even just word of mouth. So the key is to give something for people to talk about, or give people no, yeah, give something for people to talk about. Um, and just get the word spreading through word of mouth, through friends wanting to support, and then, oh wow, frisbee is so nice, and then they join. Um, and then also we can use streaming as mentioned earlier. When we're going to have regular engagements throughout the entire road to Worlds. So yeah, we spoke about those challenges earlier between different packs, just to get the communication and the gees going, get people hyped for Frisbee. Monthly challenges to keep the community engaged. You don't even have to be like a wild dog to try the monthly challenge. You're just here for the gees. And then exposure is key. Um, exposure for key events before, during, and after they happen. So exposure for trials, exposure for this meeting, for example, it wasn't just like a message. We like kept telling people and reminding people, and that way we make sure that we get as many people on board, and then we move forward. So yeah, that's how we're looking to get Ultimate on the map using the Wild Dogs as a vehicle. Now, something I'm very, very excited about. Under 20 Ultimate. There's huge potential for under 20 Ultimate. There are already active under 20 players all over the country. This link takes you to the stream of the Uprising tournament that happened in KZN, where like a bunch of under 20 teams just played against each other. And at the same time, in Cape Town, we heard that I believe there were like over 100 kids at Westerford just playing Ultimate Frisbee. And then Sam was even flexing again that there were over 100 kids just the other day playing. So what we want to do is we want to um, sorry. The next point is conversations have brewed about a national under 20 tournament happening in KZN in June 2024. Myself, Travis, Ryan Long, who hosted the last Uprising tournament, have had conversations about that, and we want to do it again and just take it to the next level. So there's high potential to extend Ultimate's reach into schools, therefore expanding the under 24 player pool. Because if you're under 20, you can play under 24. Emma played under 24 and she was like 16. So she has so many years to play. Even Lyndall, Voss Price, as an example, she started when she was still in school and now is going to try out if she, like in this campaign, I think it's going to be the third if she makes it. Could even be the fourth. Who knows? But the fact is, under 20 Ultimate is where it's at. And not just that, there's also a World Junior Championship that would probably happen in 2026. So the under 24 championship will happen 1 year, and then the next year it's under 20, then under 24, then under 20, then under 24, then under 20. And yeah, there's a link to the last under 20, sorry, the last World's Junior Ultimate Championships that happened, I think, in Poland. But yeah, they happen. So let's get a team together. And the whole plan is for the Wild Dogs program to get the ball rolling for establishing like an under 20 team, like almost like a little sibling that just like becomes a fledgling now. Nothing really happens. Well, not nothing happens. Things start to happen, and then by 2026 we have an established under 20 group or selection squad that can go to a 2026 tournament. So if we start now with this campaign, we can sort of build and sort of grow Ultimates for the World Junior Ultimate Championships in 2026. Moving on to the digital space, social media is going to be a key tool in building communication with our community. Building an audience also increases the brand ability for potential sponsors. So I'm saying that now because I want to say to the community, what's going to help us raise funds is if you're engaged. Even if you just watch and like and say, oh, the Wild Dogs are great, Hoya comments on Instagram, go watch some YouTube videos. It may feel like it's not that much, but it makes a difference like for the sponsors. If they see that there are eyes, if we can say, hey, we have an audience here of people that watch Ultimate Frisbee that are invested in Ultimates in South Africa, then we can be like, sportsmen's, get involved. You have some eyes there, you can get some coverage. A large virtual presence has a potential to attract more players to the community as well. So yeah, we're going to try to be as active as we can on social media, just to once again expand Ultimate in the country. And then streaming is an opportunity to showcase the team. Once again, a platform for potential sponsorships. Footage can be used for coaching and technical analysis. And we'll probably only really start streaming the Wild Dogs team per se once the team is sort of like together and we're touring. But yeah, and it's also fun to see yourself play. Let's be honest, if you did a cool play, it would be nice to have that on a replay. Maybe just clip it on YouTube, show your friends that you know you're actually pretty cool playing this sport. So that's basically all I really want to say. But yeah, the question is, what now? What can we do now? What's the call to action, Paul? The call to action is this. If you're an eligible player, fill in this form. There's a hyperlink there. We're going to share the PowerPoint. Hannah, you see co-squad manager out here. The forms are in the link tree that you'll find in the comment here. So you can fill in the form there if you're an eligible player. That means that you were born in or after 2002. So literally 1st of Jan 2002, if you're born there, you're Gucci. Before that, Hade. Become a volunteer. So if you want to volunteer to run the aforementioned prep camps, fill in this form. And yeah, if you just want to volunteer and help out and see where you can sort of fit in, because it's not just about hosting things. That's not the only way that you can contribute to the campaign. We're going to need a lot of help fundraising. Like, even if it's just some ideas, we're going to need help finding sponsors. We're going to need a whole bunch of things just to make this campaign worthwhile. So yeah, we've identified some places for people to sort of slot in, but we're also open to other people saying, hey, have you considered this for the Wild Dogs? Yeah, like, we're open to ideas. We have the time now to actually try to implement them. So yeah, this is the form to fill in if you have any cool ideas. If you want to be involved, fill in this form. And that's all. Thank you for your time. And if you have any questions, any ideas, let's chat. So let's put our hands up. If we have any questions, we have Siva in the comments saying, it says the form is no longer accepting responses. We'll work on that. We'll work on that. We're working on that. We'll open the link again. Don't you worry, brother. We will. We will. We will. We will. Any other questions for the Wild Dogs 2025? Keen, sweet in the comments, Siva, super duper keen. Is anyone involved in schools? I know Sam's involved in schools. Anyone else besides Westerford to get that under 20 tournaments up and running? Okay, form is open according to Hannah. There was something else I wanted to mention about. No, it's okay. It's okay. Elizabeth Carr, will the recording be available to send to other under 24 players? Yes, it will be. Let me actually just check OBS. OBS is recording, so we are good to go on that front. And the audio is working. So, guys, the amount of times I've messed up audio. Where would we most like to go for Worlds? Now, that's a good question. I was thinking Asia. Asia would be nice. They have the infrastructure and we haven't been there, a whole different world. But Europe is probably the easiest and the most so potentially for a tour. But the plan was for tours to be a national thing, right? But if it were in the UK, like this last campaign, maybe we could head over to like Belgium, for example, just before Worlds, and then like have like warm-up games, like other teams had warm-up games, and then travel to the UK to compete. US could also happen, but yeah, I'm not really sure when the last time the US hosted an under 24 tournament. The more into hosting clubs, like the WAC, for example, yeah, did they? Yeah, Pre-2017, yeah, was the last time. But I mean, even I'm even trying to think of if the US even hosted. Where was 2017? Was 2017? We didn't go to that one, but where was it? Anyway, yeah, the US could happen, but yeah, I'm not sure. Asia would be sick. Like Japan, oh my gosh, wouldn't that be cool? A whole different cultural experience. So yeah, that's for me personally. Um, but even South America would be interesting. But can they host a big tournament? I haven't seen them host an international tournament. Australia would probably be the last place because it's so expensive. Um, and if it is in Australia, now that we're here, and it does become too expensive, like if it goes way outside the budget, like we're budgeting around 60K per player, and if it goes to 100K, then what we may end up doing is just having an international tour that doesn't go to Worlds. So maybe playing some other under 24 teams. But yeah, we'll have conversations about that. We'll have our ear to the ground. Um, we have some contacts at WIFDF. I mean, even Travis is here. So yeah. Oh, US has never hosted. That's good to know. An under 24 tournament, that is. I think they host seniors. And by seniors, I mean like um, over 24, but like under masters. That's that area. So yeah. Oh, Canada. Canada could be nice. So yeah. Any other questions? No, looks good. Looks good. Okay. So looking forward to as many people as possible filling in those forms. Tell your friends, send them the recording. We'll put on the drive and we'll share the link on the various SAFTA communication channels. But yes, guys, exciting times. Let's believe in a really, really big picture. Let's believe in not just the however many players that go on this campaign being wild dogs. Let's believe that everybody is part of the pack because everybody can make a huge difference. I mean, I only made under 24s after 24, and yeah, it was life changing, legit. So anyone can do it. Um, yeah. So yip, wild dogs, woof woof, and have a great Tuesday. Cheers, everyone. Thank you. I see clapping. I like clapping. I'm gonna stop the recording. There's a hand. There's a hand. Are those clapping hands? If your hand is up, speak. No, those are just clapping hands. Those are just clapping hands. Cool. Cool. Cheerio, everybody. Except if you guys want to talk about. Oh, it's stop the recording.